And good morning, grade 7, with you, Mr. Samir Awad, for the second part of the Surface Water, lesson 2, chapter 1 of Water and the Atmosphere. And we get before, guys, the river system, lakes, and ponds, and we are going now to start to work on the second part of that, talking about lakes formation. And for the lakes formation, when we are going to start the lakes formation, we'll get two categories of the lakes. Number one, natural lakes, which is God-made, and number two, it will be artificial or man-made lakes that need human interference in order to make it. Let's start by the first one, guys. And the first type is called natural lake formation. And the natural lakes might be made up of rivers. Yeah, and the rivers we can see two categories there. The river plugged by volcano or the river cut off itself. And also the second part, which is can be made up of ice, and the ice from the ice age, which start to melt, and after that make a depression, will be ice sheet, which is melting. And the third one, which is Earth's crust movement, yeah, which is making some valley rifts and surround the river in order to make some new lakes. Let's get to yeah from rivers. Number one, the river cutoff here. And in the river cutoff, you will see, for example, yeah, maybe the river may start to in the loop and start to surround itself, and after that, will get encounters obstacles in its path. Eventually, a new channel might form cutting of a loop. And also, the cutoff loop may become an oxbow lake. That's, for example, we'll get it out. And secondly, will be from river blocked by volcano, and the volcanoes can also form lakes when they start to get the lava and the mud, yeah, from the volcano can block a river, forming a lake. And the lakes can also form in the empty craters of volcano. So if you get that, all that will be coming from the volcano and rivers. Yeah, and that's example for the oxbow or something like channel structure lake, which is stored by the current of the river. Yeah. The second part coming for the natural one from ice melt. And when we are talking about the ice melt, we will get here that some lakes, such as the Great Lakes from this part in Africa, will get also. So the Great Lakes here, guys, the Great Lakes formed in depressions created by ice sheets that melted at the end of the ice age. So that's also like in America, we'll get the Great Lake that is causing a depression here in the earth. So the land is going down because of this part of ice start to melt after the ice age. And from Earth's crust movement, other lakes were created by movement of the Earth's crust that formed long, deep valleys called rift valleys. In Africa, for example, Lake Tanganyika lies in the Rift Valley. So when the Earth start to make movements, yeah, the lakes start to be. That's example for what happened by the movement of the Earth here is making lakes here. Yeah. The second part is talking about the artificial lakes. And the artificial lakes, it's man-made, guys, and the human is doing that in order to collect water in his home. So it's called also a reservoir. So the people can create a lake by building a dam, and a lake that stores water for human use is called reservoir. For example, in Egypt, you will get the high dam, you will get beyond it the Lake of Nasser. That's collecting the water beyond it in order to save it for Egypt and in order to be used by the human and also to start to generate electricity. The second part of our session today is talking about how can lakes change. And the lakes can be changed directly, guys, as we see from natural processes that happen directly, like eutrophication, we will get it next, and by the human activities that can cause the lakes to disappear and shrink it and start to be shallower. Yeah, we knew that the lake in the beginning is deep and great, but after the interference, even it's naturally or by the human, it will get shrink and shallower too. First of all, it's eutrophication. In the eutrophication, guys, as organisms, as the organisms here die, bacteria break down or start to decompose them or to eat them. And the bodies of the animals and the organisms and the plants there in the lake start to release nutrients into water. When the nutrients in the water increase, like nitrogen and phosphorus, yeah, are chemical that will be needed by other organisms like algae, as we said before in Arabic, at-tahalib. And also over time, nutrients can build up in the lake in process called eutrophication. So when we get a lot of organisms dies and make a layer over layer, the nutrients are making layer over layer, the water will start to shrink and also the lake will start to get, less. Also, we got that here. I'm sorry we'll get back for that. Also, we can get back for that, guys. We can see eutrophication in these three steps here. Number one, it's a normal lake in the beginning, and the organisms start to die here and start to make a layer down. And this layer down is made up of wastes and nutrients into the water from these organisms. By the time that organisms start to pile up in the bottom, accumulate in the bottom of the lake, making it shallower. So it's like you are start to bury this lake by a lot of animals or dead animals. And the nutrients of them will start to spread over. When they start to spread, you will see patches of algae will start to cover over the lake here. Like we see in the third step, over time, the lake becomes filled, yeah, forming a meadow. And the meadow here, it means that will be like one mustanqa in Arabic. Exactly like we see here as the steps. Yeah, the algae here will spread over, forming a layer that's covering the lake surface. And also, when the algae layer become so thick that it blocks sunlight, so there is no sunlight will go inside again, so it cannot carry out photosynthesis, and after that it died. Without food and oxygen, because no photosynthesis, so there will be no oxygen, and also there will be no food because there is no nutrients from the plants, so animals will die too. And decaying materials from dead organisms pile up or accumulate in the bottom and making the lake shallower. And also, guys, as the area fills, yeah, land plants grow in mud. Eventually, the area fills with plants, and a meadow will be replaces the former lake that was there. Yeah, thank you guys for your attention. Yeah, that can happen too by the human act and fertilizers. And by the end, guys, I want you to concentrate more and be safe home. Mr. Samir Awad will with you. If you please be cautious about yourself. Bye bye.